All this TRP National Motocross action from PE is proudly brought to you by Cannabis Energy Drink and their associate sponsors. Round one, we head down to Rover Motocross Track in Port Elizabeth, the friendly city. There's not a lot of friends out on this track though, particularly when they've done such an incredible job to get it ready for round one here of the National Motocross Series. Some big fields coming out here and a couple of new riders, a couple of returning riders, but more importantly is we've got such a big field and it's great to see how motocross has grown over the last couple of seasons and it's stayed well within the family affair. It's great. Big crowds coming out here as they always do. There's lots of hungry people for motorsport down in the Eastern Cape. A couple of final adjustments being done to bikes and to riders. Living up to his name, M. Topless. The race shop in full effect in case you forgot something at home. Great to see them here supporting the National Motocross as always. You can see these guys and girls are now ready to rock and roll, and it's going to be an interesting season, particularly here at a track that is very, very difficult and will get more and more difficult as the day goes through. The crowds are here, we are ready to rock and roll, but we're going to head to the short track and the mini track first for the first bit of action from our 50cc category. The reigning champion Ethan Williamson not here due to a family emergency, but the rest of the pack are here. And look out for local favourite Trenton Kretzmann, who possibly is going to give these boys a run for their money. Man who had a fantastic off-season is Brodie Bircher. Damon Maloney's in the house. No, not related, unfortunately. But certainly going to be flying the flag high there, hopefully for the Maloney name. As the 5-second board comes up, the gates drop and they head down towards turn one. Who's going to get the whole shot? Oh, big crash! Big crash as they head towards turn one. 4 or 5 bikes going down there. Looks like Kretzmann and Chase Becker side by side down towards turn one. Right on their tail, Aidan Retief. A good start out of Michael Enslin. We saw him in the grid. And there you can see the riders who've gone down. Christy Fletcher's one of them. Bircher's the other one. See, Fletcher just gets out of shape. Bircher, it's actually Bircher who got out of shape first and goes over the bars, just getting caught out in the thick sand. Remember, this is a sand track. So this track is not going to get as rutted up as big and badly as the big track, but there are going to definitely be some issues here as the sand starts to thicken up. Front end, though, is Becker. Trenton Kretzmann fighting hard there with Aidan Retief. You can see Maxwell Farid there too. Good start from him, not quite where he normally is. Raiden Wools just taking a little bit of strain at the background. Watch out for the return there of Bircher if he can make his way past. He did get back up on track and back on the bike, but he's got a long way to climb to try and find the way to the front end now. The 9-4 bike coming through there as well of Kretzmann. Absolutely hauling at this point. Moms and dads on the sideline showing lots of support for these youngsters. And it's great to see them all out there and pushing it to the limit. The back end, Carl Pienaar, just getting to grips with the circuit. First time out for him here for the season. There's Enslin. Enslin fighting hard still there with Evan Frost and Alex Cooper. Rider down. Some problems here getting caught out. As you can see, it's the 80 bike who's gone down there of Cabello Ledwaba. But he gets back up very quickly and back on track, trying to close things down now with his rivals. The top three coming to shot there, Becker, Retief and Kretzmann. Kretzmann closing down. Aidan Retief's days are numbered, I think. And there it is, Kretzmann through. Now onto the charge, trying to find a way past on Becker. Can Becker keep him out? The 42 bike there of Aidan Retief dropped back down in the third place there. Easy to spot with that livery and the bright yellow helmet as he flies down into the bomb hole. Just behind them, it's 555, Maxwell Farid. And you can see 277 and the 137 coming through there as well. 77, of course, is Enslin. 137 is Cooper. Alex Cooper and Michael Enslin having a little bit of a fight of their own there as they head down towards turn one again. Completing these laps and ticking them off one by one. Oh, a little problem there for Kretzmann. He just went on the inside line. And the front wheel almost washed out. He managed to just catch it. Very lucky to survive that one, but it loses him a little bit of ground and gives Becker a bit of breathing room. Kretzmann comes straight back at him, using his local track knowledge here. Oh, foot off the bike, tapping the back as well. Nearly went out the front door there. That was a big move there from Kretzmann. Very lucky to survive again. You can see how hard he's riding. Further back, nice to see Skylar de Kock and Christy Fletcher back up and riding. So Fletcher's back up, so is Brodie Bircher. And by the looks of things, Brodie Bircher might have got up into the top 10. So nice recovery there from the young man from KwaZulu-Natal. There he is in full flight. Just inside the top 10 now for Bircher. Top two are side by side. Oh, this is going to be a great fight to the end. Nothing in it there between Kretzmann and Becker. Can Becker keep him out? They're coming up on some back markers now. The back markers might come into play here as well. 331, Eli Young, Kalen Oosthuizen as well, and Troy and Seth van Vuren. Steve van Vuren's at the back there with Ledwaba. Second place is still Kretzmann. He has not found a way past. Third is still Retief. See Moms running across the circuit, or possibly riders down somewhere. It's not Becker. Becker's keeping it all together. Kretzmann trying to close him down now. Can he do it? Can he find a way here in the last bit of this race? You see yellow flags in the background. The yellow rider coming through here is third place. Aidan Retief goes down. Retief goes down. Wow, this mom I think has done more laps than the riders have. He's been running back and forth, and we've still got some action to be sorted out in the mid-pack. There are riders down left, right and centre. The track is getting ruttier and ruttier. And you can see the two riders in first and second, Becker and Trenton Kretzmann, are staying out of trouble. Retief survived incredibly, and Maxwell Fourie was just too far back to capitalise on that mistake that we saw Retief make in the top turn. Second last one there with 2 corners to go. And the mid-pack battles continue now as they head into the final lap. Chase Becker is actually on his final lap. There you go. Flechter starts her final lap and waiting for that checkered flag to come out now. It is going to be for Becker. Becker's hung on. He's going to take the first victory, and what a good ride there from Chase Becker. That's a great way to start the season. Trenton Kretzmann, the local man, comes through for second, and Aidan Retief, despite the crash, still finishes up in third. There's the overall results, with Becker taking ahead of Kretzmann, Maxwell Fourie beating out Aidan Retief in the second heat, and Ensslin takes the top 5. Great run from our 50cc's. On the podium, there they are. Chase Becker at the top. He'll be happy with that and looking forward to heading to Cape Town. And next year, that man will get a bike with an engine. But that's one way to warm up, I suppose. Another way is to go to Lavish and have a quick hairdo. Get ready to go now. That's our Brolly babe. She's got some work to do. The family affair continues here at the first round of the National Motocross, and Cannabis are in the house, promoting their product and showing that they are behind motocross in a big way. This is a big field that have come out for round number 1 down in PE, and the action is going to be thick and fast now as we get into the bigger categories. One of them is the biggest one. The 450s and MX1 are lined up now for their first heat of the battle for 2020. Great to see an initiative from MSA and Motocross to give the riders a chance to score points in qualifying. So ready riders with points on the board as we get ready now as those gates drop and head down towards Bridgestone Corner. The 450s are going to be the perfect bike to be on here, particularly with the thick sand. And it's Kieran Fitzgerald, looks like he's got the whole shot as they go through turn 1. What a start there from David Goosen. He comes over the first couple of jumps. Kieran Fitzgerald leading things out incredibly on a 350cc KTM. So he's changed up a little bit of a strategy there, and what a way to go. He is absolutely flying away from the bigger 450s, and that less 100cc's doesn't seem to be bothering him at all as they come through FMF for the very first time. That's just after the start-finish line. Not a good start from Tristan Purdon. He's got some work to do, but we know how good Purdon is to come through. And at the back end of the field, Kevin Moran out there on the second gear stall Kawasaki. Second place right now. Whoa, what a start from Jesse Wright. Didn't quite expect that. He's ahead of his teammate, and you can see the Out of Africa Monster Energy boys are pushing hard here, right from the word go, trying to close down on that Red Bull KTM out front. You see Wright in second, right behind him, that is Matty Milan. Matty Milan followed by Goosen. Goosen followed by Lloyd Fakal, fighting hard there to try and find a way through, and it's a tough way past, as you can see. Just behind that is Warsmith. Regan Warsmith having a fantastic first outing in the 450s as well, all the way from Zimbabwe. We saw Wally win in the Summer Series. Now he wants to put it into practice here in a full national championship in South Africa. Coming over the big twin air jumps and back down into the bowl. It's Matty Milan who's starting to put the pressure on. And he's starting to slowly but surely reel in those top 2. Oh man, left, right and centre, you can see the action all the way through the circuit. And right now Milan is on a charge, and look at that, Milan pushing hard, looking for second place. He comes alongside Jesse Wright. Wright going to be side by side with him as they come through there. Can he hang on? Milan goes wide. On the inside, watch out for Goosen. Probably the hardest charger out there other than Milan is David Goosen. And the crowd are loving all this action. There is no doubt this is a great return to what National Motocross should be. Slightly shorter format of racing, but it gives both our national championships, 250 and 450 classes, a chance to have the best riders in that pack. And one of them is Milan. And he's pushing hard on the Husky. To close things down now, Kieran Fitzgerald slowly but surely being reeled in by the Yamahas and that Husqvarna. So the 350cc KTM has been caught by both of those out of Africa Yamahas, and it looks like, yes, wow, Milan is coming, and he means business. Matty Milan is now right there with Jesse Wright. He's brought David Goosen along for the ride as well. So we've got a 4-way fight for the lead here. This is exactly what 450 should be. Oh, a little bit of dust, and I think the yellow flag was about to come in there. Yes, where's Matty Milan? Milan's gone down. Milan has gone down on the Husqvarna, so he's crashed out, putting some pressure onto himself there. There he is, climbing back up peakless as well. He's lost a peak on that helmet again. I don't know how many peaks he goes through in a year, but Milan has crashed out, and it looks like coming over the top there, De Freya got involved, and I think there was also an incident there, possibly with another rider coming through and hitting Milan, because the rider was right in the middle of the circuit. Fortunately, Milan's got back up and riding, but he's now right at the back of the field, and he's got a huge mountain to climb, and I wonder if he's got an injury. There's a very good possibility he's going to be sore from that one. It was not an easy crash, that is for sure. They never are in motocross. So now we have Kieran Fitzgerald on the Red Bull KTM ahead of the Out of Africa Monster Energy Yamahas of Wright and Goosen. Jesse Wright, what a turnaround for this youngster. Watch out for him in this class if this is the way he's going to start the season. And I'm just concerned about the lap times that are starting to come in there from his teammate. Goosen wants this one badly. I'm watching in the background as well. I was trying to pick up and see where Anthony Reynard had ended up. He's just behind that first pack, and Reynard is being followed very closely by Lloyd Fakale and Tristan Purdon. Purdon has found a little bit of late race pace as we expected. So watch out for Tristan. TP's on his way. Yellow flag still waving here for some down riders at the top end of the circuit. And as they come through there, you can see on the sideline, that is the 97 bike, unfortunately, of Dylan De Silva, who's out. They're closing in on the back end there, I think, of Vogelsang. Johan Vogelsang. He was the rider who was actually involved with Matty Milan. The other rider that went down there was Johan Vogelsang. So he's right at the back there, and now just circulating to get as many points as he can. I think that's exactly what Matty Milan is doing too. The two Yamahas now on the back end. There's Milan. Just circulating, and his hand off. There's definitely an issue. That left hand or left shoulder's got a bit of a problem. I wonder if he's going to make it to the finish line. Change up for the lead. Jesse Wright hits the front. Can you believe that? And wow, straight after him comes his teammate. So it's Wright and Goosen leading things out now for the Yamahas. That 350cc KTM, it slowed down. I saw him slowing down in the background there. I think there's a problem there on Fitzgerald's bike. It's Purdon who's up to third. Yes, Kieran Fitzgerald's gone missing. He might have pulled into the side. Yes, he's got a problem. One of the front end. Yeah, there's an issue there on the brakes. Looks like a bolt's come loose there on the front brakes, and that caliper's not working like it should. Reynard and Goosen going at it now. Goosen around the outside of Anthony Reynard. Reynard in the mix. Look at that. Oh, that's lovely. Massive roost from both of those tyres as they came through that turn. Right dropping down ever so slightly there. So we literally got 21, 22, and 23 fighting hard. That is top quality 450 action. Where is Purdon? Has he closed down yet? No, not yet, but he's not too far off the back end of Goosen. So I think David Goosen's days could be numbered here. Tristan Purdon, as always, in this part of the race, is a man to be watching out for. Lloyd Fakale has also come into the mix too. Good to see the 777 bike there coming into the play and looking for a chance of a possible podium. Let's see how hard they are pushing as they come through the Thor section. Once again, Reynard, big roost off that bike, trying to close things down. Oh, here comes a possibility of a change up in the lead. Yes, oh, Purdon going very, very hot into that corner at Pro Taper, and Goosen goes down. The two of them just tapping handlebars. Goosen had nowhere to go. Purdon just climbing right across the front end of that bike and securing the front end and taking the lead. So it's Tristan Purdon now ahead of David Goosen. Lloyd Fakale coming into play too. It looks like Goosen might have just been rattled there ever so slightly. Certainly not as smooth as what he was earlier on. Purdon going to hang on here possibly for the win. Yes, he is. Tristan Purdon's going to come to the checkered flag for the first win of the season. The championship has not been wrapped up for 2019 yet, but he certainly started 2020 right, with the first victory on the day going to him on the Red Bull KTM. Lloyd Fakale comes through for second place, beating out Goosen in the end, with Reynard in fourth, beating Jesse Wright. Cam DeRoe, his 450 debut in sixth place. Purdon, Fakale, and Goosen, your top three. I'll be happy with that first podium of the season. And join us after the break for more action here from the Motocross Nationals. Welcome back to round one action here from the TRP National Motocross, proudly brought to you by Cannabis Energy and our associate sponsors. We're getting ready to go now for more categories, and more people have come from the town of P. And look at that. I think there might be some local cannabis that we're looking at as well. In the mix and in amongst the big crowds, the 65cc's are certainly one of the favorite categories, with a big field of 25 riders lining up for round one. The champion is in the house. Neil van der Pfeiffer with the number one plate. We're going to go back to back now if he can, like he did in his 50cc career. Gate's about to drop. You can see the number one there. Oh, and some problems. 423 Aston Martin gets stuck in the gate. That's certainly not the way you want to start a 65cc race. But down towards turn one, it's not van der Pfeiffer who gets the drop. Going through there, I think it was Caden Visa who came through. Right there is Blade Tilley, and watch out for Aidan Henley, who got a good start as well. Coming up into the Pro Taper section now, looks like it's Jordan van Wyk though, who's now secured the front end, and he's pulling away ever so slightly. He's got Trey Cox up there as well with him. Watch out for a big battle between the two of them, but look at how thick those ruts are getting and how difficult it is already for these little 65cc wheels to contain themselves and stay upright. Not going to be an easy day in the saddle. Coming through there as well was Aidan Safi and Sven Larsen. It looks like the young blood racing man putting on some good effort here to try and be in the top 10. Further back, you've got Emile Kusei all the way there from Zimbabwe, rider down on the inside of the 100% corner. 747, it's Stephanie van der Pfeiffer who's coming up in a second, but closing down on the 747 of Jordan van Wyk. Cox just behind them. 114. Oh, how squirrely would you like to get it there, Damien Fenter? Trying to stay within those ruts and not crush rut himself. At the moment, Van Wyk followed very closely Van der Pfeiffer, and then it's Cox. The number 2 plate on that bike from Trey Cox, looking to make it a number 1 this year if he can. And you got the rest of that pack coming into play. Look at that. Look at how difficult it is for these youngsters. Cox getting the board there, just being told exactly what he needs to do. Probably going to just say to him, calm down, cool, calm and collected. Exactly what Alfie would be expecting as they come out 100%. Trey Cox now closing on Van der Pfeiffer. Van der Pfeiffer closing on Van Wyk. 3-way battle for the lead of this race. Behind them, they start to line up. And they start in the form of Tyler Peterson. Good start from him too. Nickel Smith in there as well. Normally a bit higher up there for Smith. But this time just battling with conditions. A lot of the riders here today in the 65cc class and probably in the 85cc class as well will be just looking to survive today. They know they're going to Cape Town. They know they've got the hard pack circuits coming later on. And a lot of them are not as well and as a fay here. Change up for the front though. Yeah, Van Wyk's dropped down a second into Trey Cox's hands, and it's now Van der Pfeiffer who leads out. And look at the margin. Neil Van der Pfeiffer's opened up literally from the word go. A great bit of maneuvering there. The checkered flag is out. Time to perfection. Second place there coming for 747's Jordan Van Wyk. And Trey Cox comes through for third, right on his tail. Overall results there, Jordan Van Wyk taking the victory overall ahead of Trey Cox. Jack Pullen in third, with Van der Pfeiffer having issues in the second heat. Aidan Haley in fifth. Peterson, Larson and Barrington Smith, your top 8. Neil Van der Pfeiffer on the top step of that first race podium, but he had a little bit of issues in race number 2. Let's see what happens in Cape Town at round 2. The crowds are still coming in here thick and fast and looking forward to more action now as we head back down to the start gates and get ready to go for the next heat of the MX Ladies category. Number 1 plate right in the middle, change of machinery for Kayla Roth. Now on Kawasaki South Africa's KX250, heading into turn 1 and hole shotting. And side by side was Jadine De Lima. Good start from her. In the background, watch out for Jonka and look out for Natasha Regani. Those are the usual contenders in this category. First time in a long time that we've had the ladies on their own. So a little bit of a change up here. There's not going to be much action in the mid-pack because there's normally mixing amongst the support or MX3s. This time they don't have to worry about that. All they've got to worry about are their own competitors out there. And all 8 of them looking forward to this battle right through the season. I'm sure we'll get a couple other riders joining them at the various rounds and at different circuits when local riders come to the fore. But right now, it is Kayla Roth doing exactly what she did in 2019, dominating and getting away from this pack. De Lima still fighting hard there with Jonka. Jonka coming through with Regani. Regani trying to go around the outside, but Jadine De Lima keeps her at bay, then eventually loses out. 3-way battle for second place as the leader. Look at the gap she's pulled already. An amazing run here from the first time out on that KX. And a super effort there from Kayla Roth to maintain what is going to be a tough season to get back-to-back victories in the ladies category. Further back, you've got Kylie Kotzer out there, Savannah Van Vuren, and Kelly Ben, all doing a super job in the ladies class. 351 of Ben at the back end, but at the front end, it's the number 1 who has just got away. And look at the gap that she's pulled. Almost 3 or 4 corners ahead now, and change up for second as Regani is now starting to come through and has found a way past. Jonka with some problems. Oh, a little bit of a problem there for Megan Jonka. De Lima squeezes past. And just behind them, well, a similar kind of incident. Oh, 2 riders down. Savannah Van Vuren is one of them. The other one is Kelly Ben. Just getting caught up with that tyre going into the thick sand. Ladies are going to battle to pick those bikes up. It's tough to ride in these conditions. It's thick sand and disappearing at the front end. No worries at all for Kayla Roth. Regani into second place and Jonka into third. That's kind of how it's going to stay. There's massive gaps between the top 3, and I don't think anything will happen unless one of the riders makes a mistake. Highly unlikely to come from Kayla Roth, and exactly what we expected. On new machinery, debuts for Kawasaki's return to South African motocross, and a good effort there from her to take the first victory of the season. Second place was Natasha Regani, and she unfortunately lost out in the second heat, which gave Megan Jonka the second overall for the day for Motul, and a good effort there from Regani to take third. The De Limas were 4 and 5 ahead of Kotzer, Van Vuren and Kelly Ben. Top step once again for Kayla Roth. Let's catch up with her.
Yes, I'm really enjoying the Kawasaki. Honestly, I feel so comfortable with it. I just felt good today and it was a good day for me.
Let's catch up now with Neville Naidu from Cannabis Energy Drink.
We're very proud. We're proud to be associated with the sport. We're a growing brand and we like to grow with the sport.
Welcome back to action from round 1 of the South African Motocross Championships down in PE at the Rover Club. And we're down in the gates for Heat 2 now of MX1. Matty Milan a little bit sore after that first race incident. I wonder if he's been able to do anything about that. Is he going to try and nurse the bike, or is he going to go and fight hard? You never know with Matty Milan. The riders get ready to go now for heat number 2. The warm-up sessions are all done. These guys are ready to go down into Bridgestone corner. And the 5-second and 15-second board are going to flip out. Here we go. MX1's in the house. 450s down towards Bridgestone. And aerial material as they go flying past our drone down into turn 1. Who's going to have the whole shot? Is it Goosen by the looks of things? It might be. David Goosen just squeezing through there and trying to find a way to the front. And Tristan Purden's right there with him, and as is Verkael. Good start there from Lloyd Verkael. Much better start from him. Vogelsang in there as always. It wasn't Goosen who was at the front end. In fact, at the front end, it's Reynard. Reynard hits the front, and he's pushing hard to try and get away. This is a sand specialist, remember. He'll definitely be the man to watch out for if he started things out like this. But Purden's right there with him. Not the way we normally see Tristan Purden start. Verkael is up there as well, then comes Goosen. And in the background, watch out. You can just see the Red Bull KTM. There it is, right on the high side there of Kieran Fitzgerald. The rest of the pack in a nice field of 20 riders out there in this grid of 450s. And these guys are holding nothing back, that's for sure. Even at the back, little dice are starting to happen there. Watch out for Matty Milan. We'll keep an eye on him to see how hard and how bad that injury is. Is it going to affect his race? It's certainly not affecting the front end as Reynard and Verkael go at it. Purden down to 3rd place now. Verkael's moved up 1 place. There comes Fitzgerald. Vogelsang behind him. Then you've got Marco de Freya. Regan Warsmith coming down now on the attack. He's there with Cam Thompson. Nice little battle between the 3 of them. Watch out for Kevin Moran just behind them as well. And you can see the 2 Yamahas dominating at the front end. Big roost right into the face there of David Goosen from that Red Bull KTM of Tristan Purden. Nice to see the Hondas back in the mix as well. Hamish Harvey out there. Western Honda in the house too, coming all the way from Joburg. That's great. Great to see them making the trek all the way down here to PE. Back end of the field. They all start coming through there thick and fast. Cam Thompson at the back with Kevin Moran. Front end though, watch out. Here comes Goosen. I think David Goosen is fired up. He wants to take this victory away and does not want these other riders to be taking any more points away from him. Yamaha's 1, 2, and 4 at this point. The only KTM in the mix right now is Tristan Purden. He hasn't found an answer yet to Reynard, who leads. Verkael in 2nd. Vogelsang now. Look at that. Great to see how Johan just gets to grips with difficult conditions. He's normally a man at the front end by the whole shot time. This time out, I think he just got caught out with a couple of riders just squeezing him out. Fitzgerald there, just ahead of Jesse Wright. Jesse Wright's had a massive turnaround. This is the kind of riding we expect to see from him. There goes Vogelsang behind that. They start to line up with the 121 of Dylan Mostert on that Western Honda. And then it's all the way from Zimbabwe, the Warsmith, Regan Warsmith. What a great ride from him. Kevin Moran on the 2nd gear, still Kawasaki. And he's fighting with Cam Thompson. Thompson and him battling hard. Possibly looking for just getting inside the top 10 if they can. Change up for the lead though. Something's gone wrong. Yes, big time. Reynard's gone missing, so has Verkael. It's now Tristan Purden ahead of Goosen, ahead of Fitzgerald. Sheep, what has gone wrong? There's definitely a problem somewhere on track. There comes Reynard, and there comes Verkael. One of the 2 of them have come together somewhere on track. We didn't quite get the shot. You can see there's an issue though. Verkael's goggles off, so he's definitely gone down, and I think there was possibly a touch between the 2 Yamahas. They were fighting really hard though. Purden now out front. Is it going to be a Yamaha up next? Yes, it is. It's the Out of Africa Monster Energy Yamaha of Goosen. And then the 350cc Red Bull KTM of Kieran Fitzgerald. Yeah, that is just incredible to think about. It's a 350 and a 450cc race. And just behind them, the Reef Tanker Services bike, a KTM of Cam Deroe. He's on the 450. First time in the 450s for him. Great outing. Nice debut for the youngster. Oh, Tristan Purden in this kind of form is difficult to catch. Looks like his teammate is going to be the only man who can. Yes, he's moved to 2nd place as David Goosen dropped down to 3rd. He's dropped down to 4th because there goes Jesse Wright. Goosen's gone down somewhere. Goosen has made a mistake somewhere on track. Reynard coming through rapidly, and so is Verkael. Verkael closing down, and he's right there with Cam Deroe. Nice battle there between the 2 Yamahas and Deroe. That Reef Tanker Services KTM now fighting with the Floorstone on trend Yamaha. And speaking of Yamahas, here's the return. The Out of Africa Monster and his Yamaha. David Goosen back up and riding. He's up to about 6th place right now. Purden disappearing at the front end. I don't think Fitzgerald's going to have an answer. He's going to try and hang on for 2nd place. That'll be an awesome run from that 350cc. Jesse Wright, incredibly up for a podium. Oh, and that's a big crash. That's the Kawasaki. Is that Moran? Yes, it is. Kevin Moran has gone down just after the cannabis jump. Fortunately, just off the track. Dylan Mostert goes through, so does Cam Thompson, and there goes the 41 of our leader. You can see he rolled over the jump because of the yellow flag. That's great to see. The rider's not jumping when those yellow flags come out, and Tristan Purden knows what the rules are. So he just rolled over that jump, maintains the lead. Second place now with Jesse Wright ahead of Kieran Fitzgerald, and you can see why. Fitzgerald getting completely out of shape on a couple of turns. You see on the sideline, well, they're shouting loud. I wonder if there's only a couple of corners to go here for him. Justin Purdon has done everything right from the word go. He got to the front end, didn't quite get the whole shot, but he will definitely take the victory. Checker flag man just missing him ever so slightly. Kieran Fitzgerald's up to second. Jesse Wright's made a mistake. Fitzgerald's got through on him, and here comes Reynard. Reynard could potentially give him a bit of a problem. Yes, he is. Reynard on the inside of Jesse Wright to the line. Is it going to be Reynard? Yes, it is. Jesse Wright making an uncharacteristic mistake in the last lap and drops him down to fourth place. So it's Purdon from Fitzgerald. Red Bull KTM's 1 and 2. Reynard in third place. Nice recovery from him. And Lloyd Focal in fifth place. Let's catch up with TP.
Good way to start the championship, going 1-1 and looking forward to the rest of the season. I'd like to thank Red Bull KTM, Motorex, Mercedes, WP, Bell, 100%, my girlfriend, my mum, my dad, my sister, just everyone who's supporting me. Thank you.
Nice run on the 350 for his teammate Kieran Fitzgerald as well on Red Bull KTM.
Tristan, David and Lloyd, all the guys rode really well, so as much as it's my fault, they just made it work too tough for me, and I couldn't hang on to them if they didn't give me a good luck.
Third place for Anthony Reynard on the Tintwalo A Sport Yamaha.
That was a hard race, got cleaned out in lap 2, and yeah, fought my way back. So I'm stoked to finish third, and yeah, one more MX2 heat, so let's see what we can do.
Moving into the Pro Minis and 85cc Juniors now. A very competitive class of riders and 30 of them in the gates. Another change up for 2020 is separate starts for the Pro Minis ahead of the 85cc Juniors. So stand by as the Pro Minis make their way down towards turn 1, Bridgestone corner. Gates drop and out the gates they come. Watch out for battles there between the two Zimbabweans. Dion Manuel will be fighting hard there with Emmanuel Bucko, and Bucko's got the whole shot as he goes into turn 1, Bridgestone corner in the front end of this field. Manuel didn't quite get the start he wanted. You can see him just in that mid-pack, but slowly but surely making his way through there. Carl Townsend with a fantastic start, and keep an eye out on Bryce Peterson and Lucas Venter. Where's McGavin in there as well as they come up into the first part of the circuit and start to go into the Ricks for the very first time. There's the start of the juniors. Down into turn 1, Liam Buerta with a fantastic start. He's got the whole shot, and it looks like he's already pulling away. Look at that, he pulls about 4 or 5 bike lengths as they come down towards Cannabis for the first time. So Manuel now with some work to do to try and get through the field. Try and close down on his rival from Zimbabwe there, Emmanuel Bucko. Bucko's done it all right from the start and is certainly looking like he's a man to beat here today. We saw him on a 125 in Zimbabwe at the Summer Series, but now on his 85cc and stepping up into the Pro Mini category. He's certainly going to be a man to contend with. Through this pack, watch out for a whole bunch of riders. Peter Haynes in the background there, just outside the top 10, Bjorn Deploy and Josh Fletcher. And also, never ever take out of the equation, Tyler Tarantino. Riders heading down towards the Thor section now, and you can see the mid-pack battle starting to heat up a little bit as well. They're into 100%, giving it 100%, and having to work these smaller wheels, the 85cc Juniors, more particularly than the Pro Minis. They're on the bigger wheels. But even with the big wheels right now, the way that this track has got to treacherous conditions is making it very difficult. There you just saw Liam Buerta, that's the leader of the 85cc Juniors, and that was Bucko leading out in the Pro Minis. But look how they're lining up behind him. Keep an eye out as well on Carl Townsend. Certainly a man who could potentially throw in a little spanner in the workshop for the usual contenders. Bucko, though, doing it all right and getting away from the entire pack of Pro Minis. It's Dion Manuel who's slowly but surely starting to make his way into the front end of the race, coming alongside Carl Townsend. And Dion is certainly a man to watch out for in this class. Bucko flying the flag high for Zimbabwe and for his team. Manuel now up into second place, and looks like he's lost Carl Townsend to the tune of about 2 or 3 bike lengths. Townsend still in the mix though, and so is Bryce Peterson. So it's not over just yet as they head down towards Thor. Coming in some of the Mac Barkers now, some of the 85cc Juniors, even though they started separately, they will eventually be caught by the quicker riders. Nice little fight here as well. You can see there as Carl Townsend is applying the pressure, and coming along for the run is Bryce Peterson and Fenta. Tarantino in the house, just behind Tarantino. They're lining up. You've got Josh Fletcher, Bjorn Deploy, and slowly but surely Tristan Stevens coming in there too. But no one has got an answer to Bucko just yet. Can he keep it all together and potentially take the first victory of the season? Into this 1-2-8-8, that's Bryce Peterson, and that is Bucko. So you've got about 3 or 4 corners splitting the first 4 bikes in the Pro Minis. But a certainly man flying high and probably putting in the hottest lap time so far is the 2:43 of Manuel. And he's running out of that Alfie Cox Granger Racing stable. There's Tyler Tarantino fighting with Luke Grundy. He's got a big fight on there with Fletcher and Deploy involved there as well. And all rider down, just running out of berm there. That inside berm just washed away from Peter Brink. He's one of our top contenders in the junior class. Hopefully not going to lose too much ground here. Picks it up quickly. Another rider going down as well. You can see track conditions becoming worse and worse. Nathan Kuhn battling to get that bike back up. He eventually gets back up and gets on. But he loses, and drops the bike again. Just the strength of these riders, the fitness of the riders, maybe not up to 100% just yet. It is the first round, remember. There's certainly a big fitness in this man, and he's taking the lead. Manuel's hit the front. Where is Bucko? Manuel hit the front and got to the front end. Carl Townsend up into second. There's Bucko. And you can see from the hand guard, he's gone down somewhere. The right hand guard is broken. So Emmanuel Bucko now into third place. He's under big pressure there from Fenter and from Peterson. He has a potential where the rider might have gone down. You can see them rolling across. There's a rider crashed on the other side of the start-finish line. But fortunately, they all came and rolled over. And it's a fantastic effort there from the cannabis-sponsored rider of Townsend to come through for second place in his first outing for 2020, beating the original race leader there, Emmanuel Bucko, to third place. Fourth place was Carl Townsend for cannabis energy drink on his KTM. Liam Buerta winning out the 85cc juniors, beating Alon Orland, Peter Brink, who recovered, and Ryan Adler. Celebrations on the podium there. 2 Zimbabweans and the cannabis man on that podium. They'll be happy with that. In the 85cc juniors, it was all about Liam Buerta. More action after the break here from PE. Welcome back to action from Rover in Port Elizabeth, and a little bit of aerial material above us as well. But aerial material is exactly what you can expect as we head down into MX2. And with a change up in the program, it now allows our top riders to ride in both the 250 and 450 category on the day. And that's exactly what a lot of these riders wanted to do. Expect another epic battle here in the 250cc category. Down on the line, also watch out for a couple of riders making the step up from the 125 class. And last year's champion Dalton Fenter right in the middle there alongside Kieran Fitzgerald as they head towards turn number 1. Who's going to have the whole shot? Is it going to be Reynard? It is. Anthony Reynard goes side by side as they go into Bridgestone corner and looks up the inside. Cam Deroe. Deroe and Reynard side by side as they came out and continue up the hill. It's Kieran Fitzgerald who's in third place as they all go up into the twin air section and drop back down into the bowl. Reynard leading things out for Ace Sport and Tinswala on the Yamaha. Fitzgerald now up into second. He's got through on Cam Deroe on the Reef Taker Services KTM. Around the outside, looks like that is a good move from Slade Smith, who's starting to come into the mix. Watch out for Hickson Mahoney and Jesse Wright. Mlimi didn't get quite the start he wanted, neither did Tristan Purdon. Watch out for Purdon, though. We know he can come from the back of the field and usually finds late race pace. There goes Slade Smith, stepping up for the first time into his new Yamaha team there. Floorstone on trend, part and parcel of Fakel's outfit, and doing a super job here right from the word go. But he's got some work to do to try and close down on that front pack. On his inside, the 411 is Mlimi, and Mlimi pushing hard. Cox on the sideline getting a lot of shout out as well, as Brad Cox is in that pack too, remember. But it's Kieran Fitzgerald now. He's hit the front and got ahead of Reynard. Into second place is Reynard. Third place is now Deroe. Here comes the 411. That is Mlimi fighting with Slade Smith as they go down towards the Gurney G. Little G turn here on the circuit. Scrubbing is what it's all about. Trying to keep those bikes as low as possible. Deroe still in the third place. And trying to close down on the top 2. Behind them, a 3-way battle for 4, 5, and 6. Nice start of Ryan Angley as well. Good to see him back on the Yamaha. We've got Ricky Raff in there as well. Mark Cardy and Seth van den Nabile. But no one has got an answer just yet to this man out front on the Red Bull KTM. Or have they? Here comes Reynard back at Fitzgerald. These two have chopped and changed a bit, and Fitzgerald loses out this time. There is a change for the lead, and Reynard's at the front again. Reynard, Fitzgerald, Deroe, Mlimi, followed by Smith, and look at that, right on his tail, it's Goosen. Goosen getting a face full of roost there from the Yamaha just ahead of him, but that didn't affect him at all. And in fact, I think Goosen might have squeezed out and gone up to fourth as they come through. Yes, Goosen's got through. Goosen found a way past on Slade Smith. He's now got ahead of Mlimi, and he's up to fourth place, trying to close down on the leaders. He's done that within a couple of corners. He's now looking for a way past on Cam Deroe for third. Hickson Mahoney going flying past there. He's down in seventh, just ahead of Jesse Wright. And there goes a change up. Deroe down into third. Goosen up into second. So now David Goosen trying to get to the front and get ahead, possibly of Kieran Fitzgerald. Just watching in the background as well. Just keep an eye out for the 41 bike of Tristan Purdon. He's not too far off. There he is. Purdon is up there as well. So Purdon is coming through thick and fast, closing things down rapidly on that front pack. As we mentioned, he didn't get the start he wanted as they continue to fight in the mid-pack there. Angley going at it with Ricky Raff. And just ahead of the battle there between Jaden Proctor and Seth van den Nabile. Here's the lead though. Reynard hit the front and Goosen's on his tail. Goosen wants by. Goosen's pushing hard. Lap times looking at the way it's going so far. Tristan Purdon, fastest man on track, and that's why he's now right on the tail of Slade Smith. He's got through on Cam Deroe, he's got through on Mlimi, and he's got through on Brad Cox. So it looks like the Red Bull KTM and the Monster Energy Yamaha are the two bikes to keep an eye on. Right now, it's still one man to get past, and Goosen is nearly there. He comes around the high side of the Thor berm, trying to find a way through. Have a look at that. Oh, he makes a slight mistake there. Just gets caught up in that thick sand. It slows him up, but he doesn't lose second. But he loses about 4 or 5 bike lengths there to Reynard. Reynard might have a bit of respite there, maybe a bit of breathing room. Can he open it up with that breathing room that's been given to him? Cox now trying to close down on Mlimi just behind that. Oh, Goosen's come straight back at that. Look at that, incredible. Just in the background, that was Dalton Fenter with a bit of a problem. A young man who stepped up, the 125 champion from last year, now in the 250s. See, maybe just having a baptism of fire here at the first round. Not a great sand specialist though, so maybe he's just battling in these conditions. 3 KTMs fighting hard. Just behind that, it's the 4th of the Yamahas, and that is Slade Smith. Not the first day that he wanted, that's for sure. And certainly battle with that bike in the practice sessions. No battles at this stage bigger than this one. This is for the lead of the race, and Reynard is keeping Goosen at bay. This time Goosen does not make the same mistake in that thick sand. He's trying to find a way through. Oh, what a line there from Goosen. He's found a special line heading to the top of the hill and takes the lead of the race. Purdon coming up on his teammate looking to do a similar thing, and he also finds a good line there, but has the door firmly shut by Fitzgerald. Cardi going past the down rider there. That is Proctor. Not the way he wanted to be finishing up this one, that's for sure. He gets the bike back up, but that is going to mean he's going to drop outside the top 10. Mid-pack battles though continuing all the way through. As I said, great to see Ryan Angley back in this race. Ricky Raff is fighting with him, and just behind them, that's where Carty and Proctor were fighting. The lead has changed up. Eventually we get Goosen. He's got through, and now he's trying to get away from Anthony Reynard. But Reynard is up for the challenge. As they go through the Gurney G-turn there, it's not quite done and dusted just yet, and neither is it between the 2 Red Bull KTMs. Both of them on 250s this time as opposed to the 350 versus 450 we saw earlier in the show. Now, evenly matched motorcycles and very evenly matched talent. Who is going to have the better of the two of these 2 riders? Tristan Purdon, I think, has got the late race pace compared to Fitzgerald, and he might just move himself up into potentially a second place because the 2 of them are also closing on Reynard. Even though they're fighting so hard, it hasn't slowed them up, and the reigning champion about to be shown the way here by his teammate. Purdon eventually gets through as they go through Thor corner, and it's Fitzgerald who drops down to 4th place. He comes back at him. That's the Goosen line he's just trying to find a way past on as well, and he wasn't close enough. Slade Smith still battling a little bit out there. Hasn't had the first outing he wanted. Mlimi also probably not on the same kind of pace as what he expected at the first round. He's usually very good here in PE. Brad Cox just behind that, bringing up what is the top 10 on his leader tread, Alfie Cox KTM. 81, that's Proctor, he's back up and riding. Aviv Orland all the way from Uganda, teammate there to Mlimi this year. Just feeling the heat of the day, I think, and maybe not quite up to scratch in terms of fitness. This man certainly is, though, as David Goosen continues to lead this race ahead of Reynard. How far back is Purdon? Can we see him just in the background? We can. Purdon coming, looking to close down here on Reynard. And look how quick he's done that. Purdon just railing the outside berms, using the high line, staying out of all the thick sand, changing up the way things go as they start the final lap. Tristan Purdon's got one more lap to get through and maybe get up to the lead. I don't know if he's got enough time to catch Goosen, but he certainly has got enough time to get through here on the 23 bike of Reynard. And he's going to try it again at that same place he did it to his teammate. Couldn't quite make it stick though, but over the jump he's got past. Cam Deroe still hanging on for a top 5. Behind him it's Jesse Wright and Slade Smith. As they come flying through there for the last time, the top 10 literally going to hang on for this last lap. Out of Africa, Monster Energy Yamaha going to be taking the win here, possibly ahead of that Red Bull KTM of Tristan Purdon, but it's David Goosen who's done it all right in the closing stages. Reynard again is going to be on the podium. Consistency again out of Anthony Reynard. But once again across the line, and for the first victory in the 250s for 2020, it's David Goosen who gets that honour. Out of Africa and Monster Energy Yamaha take the win ahead of the Red Bull KTM of Tristan Purdon. It's the Dragon Energy and Swallow bike of Anthony Reynard in third, beating out Fitzgerald, Deroe, Slade Smith, Hickson Mahoney and Jesse Wright. Let's go down onto the podium and catch up with David Goosen after a great first heat in the 250s.
Yeah, very happy. That was MX2 race, first place in the first moto. Very happy. It's been a while off the 250F, a bit of a break last year. But yeah, just fun, and the oaks are fast. It's intense, and I'm just really giving my best shot. So we're still halfway through the day. There's a lot of racing and stopping out here, track's rough. So yeah, halfway through, let's see what we can do.
Welcome back to action from round one of the National Motocross in PE at Rover, and you can see the heat of the day is starting to have its effect. The crowds are coming in to get refreshed. The riders are trying to stay hydrated, but everybody is under shade. It's about 38 degrees Celsius out there, and we're about to go to battle now for the first time in the MX3 category. Reigning champion Ian Topless will be looking to do it again and possibly spoil the day and the season for everybody else. Our sideline shot here as they get ready to go. Gate's about to drop. Who's going to have what it takes down towards turn one? Oh, a little bit of issue there from the 757. Watkins getting out of shape through the gate. But it's Bircher who goes into turn one. And can he hang on to that whole shot? Or is there going to be something around the outside? Yes, there is. Tyson Engelbrecht and Dwayne Kleinans. Kleinans hits the front for leader tread. What a ride there from Dwayne Kleinans. Engelbrecht into second place and Bircher down to third. What happened with Topless? Topless didn't quite get it right there. Engelbrecht now with Bircher side by side. Look out for Topless. He's now moved up one position, up into second, and goes side by side with Kleinans as they come through Ogio. The issue in the background there, I think Andre Swart and Hanekom nearly coming together. Both of them still upright and riding. Top five, though, very evenly matched. Expect a big battle between these first five bikes. Kleinans leading out over Topless. Bircher there in third. Behind them, it is Tyson Engelbrecht, and a good start from Jono Hubbard. Alec Combrink, local man, starting to put in a little bit of a maneuver here as well. But still out front, no issues at all. And in fact, a change-up. The number 12 bike has found a way past and got through to the lead. So this is what it's all about at the front end as Tyson Engelbrecht now tries to open up a bit of a margin there and get away from Ian Topless. Out of Africa and Monster Energy Yamaha ahead of the leader tread bike. Then you go and see there Alec Combrink, Gian Ryan coming through too. And a bit of issues there for the Alfie Cox and pit boss man. Doesn't look like Brett Bircher's enjoying the sandy conditions. He's not a great sand rider, and he tells everybody that himself, but certainly looking forward to the more hardpack series a bit later on in the championship. Right now, Dwayne Kleinans is doing a super job of it. Nothing wrong at all from Kleinans as he hangs on for a potential top three. But is there going to be a... Oh, yes, there is. There certainly is going to be a change-up in that mid-pack. Coming through nicely and coming to the checkered flag. All of a sudden, Hanekom becomes a bit of a factor. But no worries at all for Ian Topless. To the line, it's Topless for the Out of Africa Monster Energy team to take the first victory and the overall victory for the entire day here at PE. It's a good effort from Tyson Engelbrecht to finish in second, Dwayne Kleinans in third, and Brett Bircher beats out Jan Ryan, Hubbard, Combrink and Swart for the top eight. Celebration on the podium there for our top three. Let's go down into the gates for the 125s as they're ready to go. The Brat Pack. Oh, and there's no fear in these guys. That is what we expect as the 125s. Gates drop and head towards turn one. Good start from Christian Soliers as he goes trying getting through the middle there. But it's the 144 by the looks of it, Blake Young, who's got to the front and hole shot it. Alongside him, look out for Stav Orland, all the way from Uganda. Rider down in the background there. I wonder if that's one of our top contenders. It could potentially be. 97 is out and down. That's Alex Combrink Jr., who crashed out through turn one. Good start there from Miguel Duval as well as they come into the thick of it. But you can see Blake Young has lost that whole shot and going down. Oh, problems there in the mid-pack. A rider crashing out. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up who it was. I think it may have been Brees Romans who went down there, but he's back up, fortunately, not too far off. And have a look at that. Stab Orland, absolutely pancake style over the top of that big tabletop. Orland now trying to make up ground. Didn't quite get the start he wanted. That's why he's pushing as hard as he can. At the front end, though, who is our leader at this point? It's Ethan Hoffman. Soliers is in there as well. The two Yamaha boys pushing hard. Gilchrist up there too. Nice run from Liam Gilchrist, in fact. Mark Anthony Philippe having a phenomenal run. And up into second place by the looks of things. Yes, it is. Philippe is up there into second. Soliers in third. They come through thick and fast. The 144, Blake Young, followed very closely there by Orland. Orland now looking for a way past as quickly as he can. The rest of the 125s coming through and pushing as hard as they can. Mlimi getting an absolutely atrocious start. But Jono Mlimi has got a lot of work to do. How far back do you want to have a look there, Mark Anthony Philippe? That's a huge look over the shoulder to see where that man is. That's why he's worried. Look at the pace that's coming out of Stav Orland. Coming from some international and American-style championships over the off-season. Orland is certainly on fire. Mid-pack, Kieran Conway, Josh de Hutton and Hayden Tully coming through there as well. Look out for Miguel Duval just behind them. Duval, Migsy, after the Thor Minios, you kind of think he would be up for the challenge right from the word go, but he's just battled a little bit. Orland, though, is the man on the move. And he's moved up ahead of Mark Anthony Philippe and Soliers. Issues for one of the motorcycles. That's 711 on the side. Brees Romans, who's got a bit of a problem. He's stuck on the takeoff point. There'll be yellow flags waving as they come to that point. So riders will have to be aware of that. 101 is Liam Gilchrist. I did say Gilchrist had an incredible turnaround here. Haven't quite seen him at the front of a 125 like he is today, but he certainly is loving life at the front end now that he's there. Two Yamahas getting through on Mark Anthony Philippe, so Cilliers and Hoffman now chopping and changing for potentially who's going to be the first Yamaha. Right now it's Cilliers. Hoffman battling a bit in the sandy conditions. Stav Orland's not. Stav Orland's at the front. He's got ahead now of Liam Gilchrist and is now opening up a decent margin over Gilchrist in second. So we've got KTM, Husqvarna, Yamaha. That's the first four as they come through. And Cilliers is doing a super job. He's just hanging on for a potential top three. He's not going to catch Orland. Orland is in a class of his own here. There's no doubt about it. And coming to the checkered flag, he'll be taking the first victory for 125s. His teammate Mlimi will look to change things around, I'm sure, at the next round. But that's how they finish up overall on the day. Orland ahead of Hoffman. Gilchrist in third place. Cilliers in fourth. Mark Anthony Philippe and Mlimi. Conway and De Hutton, your top 8.
Managed to get a good start and just push through the pack and led mostly the whole race past everyone and just held my ground. But yeah, it was a good race here in Port Elizabeth and hope to come again next year.
Second heat went to Ethan Hoffman on his Yamaha after a magnificent ride.
In the first race, I got a really good start, and I mean, I crashed in the fourth lap, and I went down hard. Managed to get a fourth in that race, so pretty stoked with the win overall.
For our final race of the day, we go down to the gates for Heat 2 of MX2s. Little chat there between the two Yamaha boys. Smiles there, but I think it's about to turn into frowns and anger as those gates drop. 5-second board, and the gates are about to drop. They head down towards turn 1, Bridgestone corner. What a start yet again from the Yamaha boys. And Slade Smith is the top of them as they go into turn 1. He gets the whole shot, and now they head towards the cannabis jump for the first time. Great start here from this big pack of 250s. Heading up to the top of the hill, you can see them all sorting things out now as they get up on the top there. Oh, looks like there might have been a problem. A lot of dust and a rider's gone down there. Oh, we didn't get the shot, unfortunately, but look at how the action continues. Nonetheless, they don't hold back. They continue racing. Yellow flag's waving. There's definitely a rider down. And unfortunately, red flag being called out there as well. So a rider must have gone down there. I think it might be Jesse Wright who was involved in the crash. And it's so serious, and the rider down means they had to call the riders back into the gates and restart this one. Wright, fortunately okay, taken to the medical centre, and he'll be checked out by the doctors as we get ready to go now for the restart. Eyes down. Gates drop. Here we go. Hickson Mahoney a bit sideways out of that gate. But as they head back into turn 1, Bridgestone corner for the restart. Oh, how do you get 21 bikes through there now? The easiest way to do it is to put the 21 bike out front. And it's exactly what David Goosen has done. He is absolutely hauling. But Dalton Fenter, incredibly, is up there with him on the CRT Husqvarna. So it's Fenter versus Goosen. Last year's 125 champion and taking on a multiple SA champion in his own right in David Goosen. Behind that, Cam DeRoe. And the rest of them sorting themselves out there. Nice start once again. This time a much better start from Tristan Burden. Carty in the mix, in the back of the pack there, fighting with Seth Van den Nabile and Hickson Mahoney. And here come the rest of them. Fenter's dropped back ever so slightly into the clutches there of Reynard. And oh, that was huge. Coxey getting a little bit of a turnaround and a thump there from Hickson Mahoney. Sent wide, but he stayed upright. That's Slade Smith now fighting as they come down the hill with Cam DeRoe. Then you've got the rest of the pack, and there's so many of them. Purdon in there, Fitzgerald as well. Carty, there's Proctor. 7-7 at the back with a bit of issues. Not quite the way they want to start things, that's for sure. Rider down, and the 7 bike has gone down, unfortunately, all on his own sim. That's Blake Goodsight, using this for a bit of training for his Enduro series and the international events he's got later on in the season. Look how thick the sand has got. Oh, how do you even hang on to a motorcycle? Where are the lines? There are no lines. The only lines that are being found right now are from Goosen and DeRoe. Looks like Slade Smith might be finding his own lines as well, but the rest of these riders are really finding it exceptionally difficult to get around this track. It has got really rutty out there. And the rougher the better, they say, for motocross. But it's when you're not on the motorcycle you can say that. When you're out there on the bike, it makes it very difficult to try and keep together and finish up the heat. This is the last one of the day, and it looks like Goosen might be looking for a victory here. Slade Smith is slowly but surely making his way to the front end. He wants to make it Yamahas 1 and 2 if he can. He's also got Anthony Reynard looking for a 1-2-3, possibly there for the tuning forks. Is that going to be a change-up? That'll certainly be the first time we see 3 Yamahas on the podium in a 250 race in a long, long time. But DeRoe is spoiling the day for them right now as he's the lead KTM. Looking to get around and find a way past. Smith is coming. So is Brad Cox. Hickson Mahoney. You can see them coming through there, and just in the background, oh, another rider down. That's Orland. Orland's crashed out. He's stuck underneath his bike. Needs a bit of outside assistance to help him there, but he eventually gets back up. Reynard has found some late race pace. Look out for Anthony Reynard, possibly spoiling the day there for Slade Smith. Cox comes through, then Mlimi, then you got Purdon side by side with Ryan Angley. Nice to have Angley, as I said, back on that Yamaha. Oh, issues there. 252 Ricky Raff pulling into the side. He's out of it. 384's gone down. Travis Goosen battling as well. I think track conditions are now starting to become treacherous. They really are exceptionally difficult out there. And making these riders have to work even harder than what they'd like. Cam DeRoe still hangs on to the lead of the KTM battle. Here's the second KTM battle. And that is Tristan Purdon closing in now on Kieran Fitzgerald. I think he's got through. Purdon has overtaken his teammate with the last lap board coming out. So Tristan Purdon now ahead of Kieran Fitzgerald. But no one's going to catch this man out front. And David Goosen on the Out of Africa Monster Energy Yamaha comes through on Aviv Orland. He leads out over Slade Smith in second. Incredibly, it is Yamaha's 1, 2 and 3 with Anthony Reynard in third. Didn't quite expect that, but it certainly is great to see the Tuning Forks machines back at the top end. They're going to be a tough season all the way through. They head to Reynard's home track, remember, but Goosen will certainly have a massive advantage with the kind of confidence he carries to Cape Town.
The sand is not my specialty, but today I just clicked with it and my bike was going so nice. So thanks to the team and had a nice flow. And they did the last race there. I had a bad start, but unfortunately my teammate Jesse crashed. Hope he's okay. They restarted and I pulled the whole shot, so that's for Jesse. Hope you're all right, buddy. And yeah, thanks to all my sponsors. It's so cool to end up the first national with a red plate. That's pretty special. So thanks, guys.
Second heat going to David Goosen, and he gets that red plate. As you heard, Slade Smith in second and Anthony Reynard in third. Let's catch up with Slade Smith with his first outing here in the 250s on the Floorstone on Trend Yamaha.
I had a good second moto, finished second, and David was quite far ahead. Well done to him. Had a bit of a sad start to the day, got a bit of a few mechanicals, but we sorted it out for second moto and I got a second. It's like thank Summit Racing, Floorstone on Trend Yamaha. Hey Dad, I was a much better rider than you ever were.
The next round is in Cape Town at Zone 7 on the 28th of March. We'll see you there, Jim.
Yeah, look, big time event. A lot of people showed up. The riders really put their heads down. The top guys came out on top. Track very, very rough, and I think everybody's looking forward to Cape Town.
All this TRP National Motocross action from PE is proudly brought to you by Cannabis Energy Drink and their associate sponsors. Cannabis Energy and TRP National Motocross Series features South Africa's best riders competing for national championship points in 8 venues around the country. From the Flying Freckles Brigade on the 50cc's right through to seasoned professionals on the 450s. Catch all the high-flying action only on Ignition, DSTV, Channel 189.